Wow, Nintendo's big on that list, isn't it?
Wow, Wii. Everyone buys Wii.
Okay, how we do
Wii
this?
sales must be really good. Wii sell really good.
On this one.
Amazing sale. I think it's like
Terrible. My list is
115.
terrible. You guys.
It beat all of these consoles. Killed it.
Really?
Yeah.
So Wii was like, but the new one wasn't as
Flop.
yeah,
Opposite.
opposite.
Nearly killed
Going
it.
backwards, isn't it?
Yeah, Wii U was atrocious.
With the Wii U, that's it.
We sold 110, 115.
Is the second best selling console after PS3?
Yeah,
PS2.
if you don't include handhelds, it's
Yeah.
after PS2. PS2 sold 150 million.
Wow. Impressive.
Well, how we doing this? So should we go through our 10 option first and then do a slot by slot and go around the table?
Yeah, I say we go individually around. Well, as in go
But
down
let's
one.
do it one at a time, because if one guy just keeps going through his whole list, it becomes...
Alright, so how do you want to do it? You want to say what's your first pick?
I didn't put them in order.
Should we run through our honourable? Yeah, no. Should we just run through our honourable
You put
mentions
yours in
first?
order.
Okay.
You put mine, yes.
I've got mine in order actually. So.
Okay, yeah, I've got mine.
Should we run through?
I can tell you number one.
Bro, I've got...
You love this, don't you? You love this. After do you learn your lesson from the last time? Everyone had it in order.
You're the only listener who listens to the entire thing.
Basically, we're the podcast, is he's our biggest fan.
Guess the parents. I think we should each go through 5 honourable mentions and just give a one-liner as to why it's honourable mention, because I'm sure some of our honourable mentions are actually in some of our top 10s.
Yep.
Which will make it easy to find the top 10 list as well.
Go on then.
Who starts off then? Since you came up with the great idea.
Yeah, go for it.
Go through the honourable mention, yeah?
Yeah.
So, my first honourable mention was Max Payne, the original one.
Great game.
Okay.
And the big reason for that was I think at the time it was the first game to do slow-mo.
That's true.
Not only that, I think it was the first game to
Slow-mo as in...
Matrix had come out. I know
That's what I remember it for, Max Payne.
Yeah.
Slow-mo.
Matrix had
Even though I
come
didn't
out.
play it.
Slow-mo was incredible.
Oh, yes.
And then Max Payne came out and took advantage of this 3D like slow-mo physics. And I think every last kill ended with like a slow motion camera.
Yep.
Which also like amplified it. And in addition to that, the story was good. It was good action, and there were actually it was almost, rather than just being action, it was almost like action horror, that game. It had some amazing moments.
Is that the one with the baby crying?
Baby crying,
Wow.
constantly.
I've heard
That's
horror
frightening,
stories about
man. That's frightening. Second honourable mention is Mario Odyssey, which is very recent.
Okay. Nostalgia trip into that one, really.
Big nostalgia trip. Big nostalgia trip. And because I think for me, because I hadn't played a Nintendo console in ages, or Mario game in ages, for me, going back onto that and having that nostalgia
Did you
trip
play
was
Mario
amplified.
64?
Yeah.
Oh, so you must have loved that.
Yep.
Is this on the Switch, the Odyssey?
Odyssey is the one on Switch, yeah.
Okay. So you got your Switch, or you got rid of it?
I've got rid of my Switch now.
Same.
Yeah, it's a good idea, man. It's an amazing idea. If we were 12 when we got that device.
it's really,
the Switch is an amazing game.
it is.
Genuinely is.
And it held its value really well, didn't it?
Yeah.
It's just,
It's like
it has,
still
it has.
expensive.
Yeah, it's still expensive. If they continue to add like pro hardware and they had games like Modern Warfare, I could easily say myself taking that to work and forget xCloud. I'd rather have a dedicated hardware
100%.
that I could play on and all the time. Third one is Bioshock Infinite. I think you explained this really well once. You were like, if Nolan could make a movie, it would have been... If Nolan could make a game, it would have been Bioshock Infinite.
We've all completed
The story
Bioshock
was...
Infinite.
I've watched it.
I've watched not all of
watched
it.
it.
I've not watched all of it.
I've watched all
but
of
I intend to, because it was amazing.
Yeah, the game, the story was amazing. The gameplay was great, and the graphics at the time I think were amazing for me, man.
So good.
Fourth one is Modern Warfare 2. And that was just more, I think this is more nostalgia factors again with Riz, because you introduced me to Modern Warfare, the original one, on PlayStation 3. And then I think eventually I drawed off to Xbox 360, you drawed off because of Gears and stuff.
Yeah.
We got Modern Warfare 2 and the hype was just too high on that game.
Wait. So, Modern Warfare 2 was more hyped even though Modern Warfare 3 had been out?
So Modern Warfare 2... No, after Modern Warfare 1, the original one.
Yeah.
That was on PS3, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I had originally had a PS3, he had a PS3. I played, he introduced me to it.
To Modern Warfare 1, yeah?
1, yeah, originally. Okay. I loved it. And then by that time, Modern Warfare 2 had come out. I'd already switched to 360.
Yeah.
I had Gears and I bought him one. And just hype just kind of continued. The game was amazing. The maps were amazing.
That's not on
and the first time they added nukes in, I thought it was too good at that moment. The maps were amazing and the gunplay was amazing in that game.
Modern Warfare 2 built on what Modern Warfare laid out.
Yeah,
Modern Warfare was a big
game
changer.
Modern Warfare on steroids, man.
Modern Warfare 2, they actually, to improve a game like Modern Warfare is impressive.
Yeah.
Modern Warfare was like this big game, got really good reviews, so much hype.
Yeah.
Modern Warfare 2 had even more.
Before you move on, did Modern Warfare 3 fuck the whole thing up?
For me, I never ever got to Modern Warfare 3. I never even played it. But I know a lot of
Oh,
people
because
did.
Battlefield, yeah? Okay.
Did Battlefield 3 come out at the same time as Warfare 3?
Because I remember working at Game Station and actively telling people.
Oh, I see. Okay, that's a big reason. That's a big part. But I'm pretty sure I didn't like Black Ops 2. I know these got played out. I couldn't play Black Ops 2.
Okay.
And the last one was SmackDown vs. Raw, and that's
Oh, what a game! I should have had that on my
the
list.
original one on PS2 because they finally introduced Hell in a Cell, and you can go to the top and chuck someone off.
Bro, multi-tap.
Multi-tap,
Fucking multi-tap,
amazing.
man.
How does that work?
So multi-tap, you remember PlayStation 2? You could have more than 2 controllers because the PlayStation 2
of course,
six players on the screen at one time, man.
That's cool.
That was incredible.
Okay, that's your 5 on
That's my 5 honorable mentions.
Good choices.
The Genie, hit me.
Yours. Because I'm be the worst one on this. I am going to be the worst. I'm the best on the other one, but the worst on this one.
Okay, dealers left. Honorable mentions: Wind Waker. With my love for Legend of Zelda. Don't need to elaborate on that. Tekken 3.
Ooh, great choice.
That game single-handedly made me spend all my life savings on the PlayStation. I had an N64 and we put everything in the PlayStation because Tekken 3 was out of this world.
That was one of the ones I was debating because Tekken 3. I
3
remember we didn't buy the game, we borrowed it off my brother's friend.
Yeah.
And we just played, we rinsed the hell out of that game.
When I say Tekken 3 in my head, I remember Jin's level and that intro music. That electric guitar. Such a tune. Wait, let me just quickly tell you.
I remember the panda just take, if that panda grabs you, he's gonna do everything to you and you can't do nothing about it. He's gonna do like a 20-second, you might just put your controller down because he's gonna
And King, right? King.
Yes, he's King, isn't it? The panda was Panda.
Yeah,
Panda was
Panda is
there.
king.
Panda was
He'd
King.
backflip you and then he'd suplex you. Oh man.
Wait, this is a tune, yeah?
Any
And it's
computer, you need to get ground.
What was on the paid promotions right now?
like this.
Yeah, there's the intro as well. The Tekken 3 intro. No, I love it. It becomes it does, 100%.
Really?
100%. I remember the intro. It's amazing. He's in a wood, in the forest, and
The devil comes out.
Yeah.
The devil comes out. Was that this
And just
music?
before it comes out, you see a helicopter and they're all running.
Yeah, I remember.
How long?
Hiyachi's it.
Hiyachi, chasing it. How long's running and all that.
Yeah, because Orang and Jin have beef.
Yeah,
This had ogre in it, right?
Yes, he was the final boss.
Yeah.
True ogre.
Ogre.
Okay, Tekken 3, let's move on.
Good choice. So that's the second one.
Yep, that's the second. Original MGS, Metal Gear Solid.
This is the one on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have, my personal favourite would have been MGS 2 probably, but you can't deny what MGS did.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, probably one of the best.
Just on record, no comment.
No, but you agree with this.
That's number 1 on your list.
Great.
I think that he's annoyed that honourable mentions are not the actual on my top 10.
It's probably not Metal Gear Solid VR mission. The second is good.
Okay, 4th, Super Mario 64. If Arfi listens to this, he'll hate me for not putting it on the top 10. That's the first 3D game I've ever played.
Wow.
But I remember when Arfi first played it. Before then, the joypads would be flat D-pads, right? So there's no analog. So N60, the PS1 never had an analog.
N64 had analog. They sent it.
No, initially.
DualShock.
DualShock introduced it later.
Yeah.
They had it afterwards. Initially, it didn't have
Initially, it didn't,
No,
right?
it didn't.
So when Mario 64 came out, there was something called an analog.
Yeah, which is the.
And like, I remember, I think Arfi said that he didn't realize that you can move it 360, so he's like trying to press it flat. And then it has 360 degrees of precision. And any way you move it, Mario would move that direction.
I forgot how the N64 controller looked.
Amazing. You could hold it like this. You start button.
It had like 3 handles, that's in.
Yeah,
one
it's
on
a
each
spaceship,
side and then one in the middle.
Literally.
Oh yes, I remember this. Yes, I remember
The
that.
spaceship.
Amazing.
You kill someone with it for sure.
If you throw that shit, it's coming back around to you.
Tried it.
Okay, 5th one, Mario Kart SNES.
Mario Kart.
Come on.
Come.
Beast, yeah. Like, how's that not making
That's
top
gonna be.
10?
That's definitely it.
But my top 10 is like my personal top 10.
Yeah,
It's the same with me. Like
Same, but that's even
a lot of these games, you probably think
sets precedent for all races, man. After it.
you'll probably think I mean, it's a lot of personal,
Yeah.
especially like once you get to your top 5 and like
But when we make the collective list, we'll try and take the personal thing out of it.
Yeah.
we'll try to absolutely got
Because ping pong's going.
Go look at it for the great good. All right, cool. So number 5 was my first honourable mention is Need for Speed Underground.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
That was a great game.
That was a great
To the
I love
window, to the
cars,
wall, bro.
yeah, and good soundtrack. Also, modifying is really went into depth with modifying cars as well. And the sort of cars it had, it didn't have Lamborghinis and all that kind of stuff, which
Yeah,
you wouldn't get.
Peugeot 206.
Peugeot 206. Yeah, the first car.
Did Underground one have the manual shift? Did you used to race on the?
We could do
Drag race.
That was cool. And you have to move because there'll be like trucks
Obstacles that come in the
The
way.
best thing about that game
Amazing.
is that they, if I'm remembering it right, they chose to make every map nighttime.
Yes.
And so that reflection and the lights everywhere.
Lovely. The best bit is, I don't know if you guys remember the songs from that.
Yeah, I do
Quite well. You had Lil Jon, Eastside Boy, trap music. There's a tune called Fortress Europe by some band called
shall we go?
Asian Dub Foundation. But can you bring it up?
Yeah.
Bro, the moment when you're racing and that comes up, the adrenaline that goes through you, honestly, it's like you're there, man.
What's it called? Fortress?
Fortress Europe. Just play the beginning kind of like when it kicks in and then you can...
Yeah.
You'll recognize
Oh,
it.
even that cover is so good.
You'll recognize it.
Oh yeah, I remember this.
Bro, this is it. Where's the ticket?
Oh, I remember this tune.
This is it. Just imagine driving. Let it just kick
Am I that lawyer?
Yeah,
But how do they capture the feeling of 200 miles per hour that no game can capture now?
everything.
Fuck, why can't games do it no more, bro?
It's time. This game was so ahead of time.
Going at 8 miles per hour in that game on drag racing. So rapid, isn't it?
Too rapid, man.
It was so quick. Like you couldn't turn quick enough.
Feel that how you are in real life. That's how it's
The
everything.
decision making had to be so quick as things were coming at you. So, oh man, they
That was amazing.
never. I don't think Need for Speed can ever do anything like that again, man.
Was that number 1?
That was lightning the ball.
That was honourable
first?
mention.
No, was that your first one?
Yes.
Yeah.
They're not in specific, but actually
Yeah,
that's
it don't matter.
Yeah, go.
Keep going.
number 2. I don't think any of you guys actually played Command & Conquer 1.
Yeah,
But I can appreciate why it's on that
I've played
list,
it,
man.
but
It's actually
Everyone's loved that game.
Actually, the first game I played when I got my PlayStation.
Oh, yes.
I played it on PlayStation. Yeah, it was on PC, but it's on PlayStation as well.
I just remember like Sandy lent you something.
Yeah. No, so Sandy told me about the game in year 3, and he showed me, and I bought the game based on his word, and I played it. It was really good. And I remember I used to bring the manual in to school, and I used to look at, you get different units.
Yeah.
I used to look at the different kind of like soldiers you can get and tanks you can get. Really good game. Really
Back then, the manuals in the games would be weeks of reading in school.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially if they had like, because sometimes like some of the manuals are quite small.
Yeah, but the strategy games, they gave you a
They gave you-
beefy book.
Yeah, they give you every unit you can buy, man. Like, it's a really good game.
so good.
That it took me, I'd say, probably it took me a while to get into. Once I was into it, I was just addicted. Man, me and my brother would play that all the time.
Right then.
Command & Conquer, an excellent game. What's amazing about that game is that, and not many games do this, is when you complete the game, it's got you got 2 sides, GDI and not. When you complete the game, you unlock something. You get a code and you put it in, and it unlocks like covert operations.
Like cheat mode.
No, extra missions in the game. So that's like an in-bit DLC to reward you that you finished the game. Really good, man. So that was pretty cool. Next honorable mention is COD Modern Warfare 2.
I did not take you for a codder, bro.
And the reason why I put COD Modern Warfare 2 and I had to put it there
The
is
sniping with that
the
game, you love
fact that, and this is huge, and you guys know how big of a Halo fan I am, right?
Yeah.
The fact that it took me off Halo,
Shit, that's big.
because it was out around that Halo 3 time. If you remember, it was around Halo 3.
Was it?
No, it wasn't.
Modern Warfare 2 would have been
It wasn't. It
2000.
wasn't. It wasn't.
It
Yeah, probably a
2010.
year. Oh,
It would have been 2010.
yeah.
And Halo 3 was 2008.
Because I got.
So it would have been 2 years after that. So
No, so what I mean is I was
you were
playing
the peak
Halo
of
3.
your-
That was the peak of my Halo 3.
Yeah.
So it took me off Halo 3, and a lot of my friends who I met on Halo 3, we were playing Modern Warfare 2, and I got to the 55 or 60.
Yeah.
Or was it 60 or 55?
55.
I remember you get like 5 stars.
Yeah.
Before you prestige, because then I don't think I prestige. I think I stopped playing after that. But the fact that, and that takes a lot of time, right? It takes quite a lot of time.
Yeah.
to get there.
that does.
And the fact that it took me off Halo, the game is amazing, man. Modern Warfare 2 is a great game. The shooting was really good, and the thing is, when it came to, because Halo and COD they kind of hate each other, kind of the COD players and Halo players, they're like, I prefer COD, I prefer Halo. The fact that a Halo player can like a COD game, because they're very different. One, you die really, time to kill is so quick. But in Halo, time to kill just takes long, right?
But my fellow COD experts, is Modern Warfare 2 the unanimous agreed upon favourite COD amongst COD fans?
For me, it is. I don't know about COD fans. I know a lot of people like Black Ops 1 a lot. Black Ops 2.
I think a lot of people would put Black Ops 2 on top.
Yeah, Black Ops 2 is lovely.
And then the reason I say
I
that
think
is
Modern
only
Warfare-
because of the competitive aspect of it.
Yeah.
The competitive aspect of people are more vocal than the average players.
That way, raiding matches and everything going on.
Yeah, that's when League Play first came in. So obviously you always had MLG, but then they brought it online, which is why you would hear a lot of vocal majority say Black Ops 2 is.
Yeah, I think Modern Warfare 2 was more well known. Its gunplay was sick. It had the UMP-45, right? It was one of the best guns that people still want. Its map design was probably the best.
In Black Ops 2.
No, Modern Warfare 2.
Is that the one with Karachi?
One gun I remember. The
Karachi?
Shipment.
The terminal, right?
Tell me Karachi.
High Rise.
Did they have Karachi?
Karachi was Modern Warfare 2, right?
Yeah, that was.
Was that Modern Warfare 2?
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
The gun I loved was the ACR. Do you remember the ACR?
Yeah.
What level? Level 48.
To this day,
To
to this day, people keep saying bring back the ACR, innit?
Yeah, ACR does the
great
UMP-45. 45.
Yeah, the 145 was the other gun, which was a monster,
Great.
right?
So that's like such a good map, man.
Really balanced game. Yeah.
Next lesson.
So that made my. I thought that would make you guys happy.
That you say you actually hate the game.
Anyways, and I put it there. Yeah. Everything I just said wasn't true. Nah, great game. Next one you will appreciate, The Division.
That deserves another.
The Division.
Yeah,
That's a great.
That's in his top 10 for sure.
It is. Yeah.
That
It's
was
a
the day,
really, really
after
good
that
game.
week, that was the day we lost you to games. We lost you.
And that's part of it. That's part of it. Games with memories of kind of like being, being not having children.
Yeah.
But the looting system is so it was really addictive. The gameplay was really good,
Good times, man.
and the dark zone, man.
Was it 2014?
Yes.
Can I
Well,
just-
the concept is still amazing, by the way, because it's still what Escape from Tarkov is today, isn't it?
What is it?
It's essentially Division on a much grander scale.
Can I just put on record that I did not mean to steal your loot that day, and it wasn't me. It wasn't me that day that stole your loot.
It was.
You're saying it wasn't you, and then I was coming towards you, and you were just inching further away. Every step I took towards you, you took a leap away.
So let me explain what happened, because I had the third person view. So you died and respawned. I was there. I saw exactly what happened. Yeah? Okay, this is exactly what happened. So as soon as you died, you were killed. He was there, and this piece of gold just popped up, it was just in the sky, a gold beam, and within a split second, it was gone. Literally within a split second, you had to catch it. If you blink, you miss it. And he took it while talking. He was very smart because he was talking and recovering from the battle, and he took it very well done. Sleight of hand, everything.
So you saw it for sure, it was him.
Oh yeah, he took it, but it was so well done that you could mistake it that he took it unintentionally, but it was taken. But Wiz being Wiz, I don't know.
Didn't take it intentionally. I didn't know it was in my bag until
He was quiet.
down.
He was quiet after
I was
that.
gunned down in cold blood. That's what I was going to say. By my own team members.
He retrieved his loot. So that really good game, man. Division, really good memories. The fact that it was, you had the dark zone as well added to it a lot.
Big thing.
They did develop the game a lot. But then we stopped playing it.
That was your first proper looter shooter, innit?
That was my first proper loot and shoot.
Yeah, it's very addictive, man.
Those games were addictive.
But I remember I was grinding. I remember that there was one level when mint green came after gold.
Yeah.
Mint green.
Yeah.
I remember there was like a glitch where you can just keep. There's little bomb seeker mine.
That fucked the game up, didn't it?
I kept sending it. Bro, it used to take me half an hour to kill the boss to get green.
But it was like an infinite loop of the highest loot, right?
I think it's got
There was one point, the last mission was a helicopter, innit? But when you took it down, it used to give you three massive, either gold or potential mint green, innit? And we used to just keep rinsing or repeating, hoping that we get that mint green, innit?
But that was challenging, man. When we played at high levels, that was actually hard. We used to die a lot in that.
It was hard. And the dark zone was hilarious, man. Seeing people, the best thing is when you call in the helicopter and you're nervous, knowing that someone didn't inform that you called a helicopter. That's the best feeling, man. showing that your loot now that you worked so hard to get could be taken away. That's a great.
Excellent concept. Excellent concept. And they're the first game to do it, right?
I think so. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
They're
I'd
the
say
first
so.
people to introduce the dark.
Well, they did well there. They did well.
Was that your fourth Assassin? Okay.
That was number. That was number 4.
Okay, fifth.
Last one is Fortnite. I had a feeling I'd get that.
Okay.
I had a feeling I'd get that.
No one needs an explanation of Fortnite, man.
I don't
I hear
even.
you. I hear you. Right, you know justification needed.
Yes,
Assassin's 5. Juge, hit me with yours.
First one.
Yep.
It's going to be Pokemon Go.
Honourable mention.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine. No, fight over that. I know. I had my sleeves rolled up for that one.
Pokemon Go.
Definitely, yeah.
Because it was a phenomenon. This is the only time I think in the whole world you can go to a corner of the street, see 5 kids standing there not thinking they're drilling drugs.
Yeah.
They're actually playing Pokemon Go.
For sure.
And just every park in any vicinity.
Yeah.
The world became a Pokemon TV show
Yeah.
for about 2 weeks straight.
And I did too. But yeah. I was right there with them.
That was an amazing. I don't know if think we told you this, but
Go on.
me and Mevish, we were at our local park.
Yeah.
I was playing Pokemon Go. These two pop up.
We managed to pop up there.
That is so weird, man.
We ended up meeting each other. They were doing the same thing, playing
So
Pokemon
by
Go.
chance, you guys are all playing Pokemon Go,
Yeah.
and you randomly meet up somewhere on planet Earth.
Amazing.
That's fucking weird, man. I remember there was a bunch of gangster kids from around the corner in hoodies riding their bikes so fast, and I was like, either they've stolen something or they're dealing. And they were going to find a Pokemon. And I swear, it was the most surreal moment. I couldn't believe it. How they were so. They weren't even ashamed. They were just so happy, publicly happy that they found whatever Pokemon.
I had a
Weedle or
similar
something.
thing when we found, you can find nests, and we found a Ponyta nest. It was right in front of London Eye, so we drove there, and we parked up, and we were and it was just me and my friend, and we were getting the Ponytas, and obviously you have to get 50 to get Rapidash.
Yeah.
So you have to get some time. You have to spend some time there, right, while it spawns and stuff,
Yeah.
whatever. And we see 3 guys in hooded jackets walking towards us, and at this point you're like, it's a done deal. It's 2 a.m. There's nobody here. Yeah. And then literally, what they asked, he goes, "Did that Ponyta spawn over there?" And I could not believe. My heart was pumping. And all he asked was, "Did that Ponyta spawn in the corner?"
Yeah, that a relief, right?
And they went running towards it. Now I'm telling you, the world it was united, man.
Yeah.
It was united. The world was united at that time.
I remember also there was events as well, like in Central Park. I think
Yeah.
events where there was legendaries or like they're really rare Pokemon.
Mad.
And I think it was it was publicly accepted. Like if you're catching Pokemon, people are like,
In fact, I think it was publicly accepted in the workplace, man.
Yeah,
people
man.
were actually, because you would find Pokemon spots in the workplace, you'd actually go there and be fine during your lunch break. Everyone just rush out and go get Pokemon.
Yeah, my boss would call me into the office, and I thought I'm being fired. He's like, "Yo, you seen that Charmander on the corner?"
you see that Charmander?
I'm telling you, the world was upside down, man.
So that's my first one.
Good choice.
The next one is gonna be Batman Arkham Asylum. Because that just spawned off one of the
Good
best
game, good days.
Yeah, one of the best franchises in gaming history. No need to explain that.
You'd have to put a comic book game in there for sure, but I heard it's a really good game.
Even outside of that,
Yeah, outside, even
I've
outside.
seen the gameplay. It's
really good, solid
The
game.
next one we put in there is Destiny,
Yeah,
the first one, with all of its expansions, shall I say?
Yeah, Taken
not
King.
just the first.
The Taken King.
Yeah, with everything.
Is that what it's called? Taken King? Or Rise of Iron would be the third one.
I'll top you in top 10.
And then the next one is Halo Combat Evolved.
Okay.
So not number 3.
Combat Evolved, yeah?
Yeah.
That's the first one, Halo
Yeah.
1.
Yeah.
Halo 1, yeah. That's
What I
Halo
remember
1.
as Black Dot Snipers.
Yeah. So not even because of the multiplayer, it's because I played it on the PC.
Yeah,
Played the full multiplayer on the PC. No,
Any chance when
single
you
player.
Oh, single player, okay.
But
you
you're
know
not the
about that.
multiplayer.
So I'm not putting it on there for the multiplayer.
Right,
I'm just putting
okay.
it for the
I
single
would say
player.
most people's first love of Halo was when they looked up in campaign and saw that rink.
That was nuts, man.
If I go back to why I like Halo, when I became in love, and the grass,
Yeah, amazing. Looked amazing.
endless field, isn't it? It might
And it
have
looked
endless.
amazing. Like, it was
You know
like,
what I'm talking about, right?
graphically, Wow, man, this is like
Too
this
good,
is
man.
big, man. And I think it was one of the first kind of like, obviously there were FPSs before that, right? But it was kind of like one of the first like it's amazing.
large scale.
Graphically,
FPS,
it's a big advancement. From
But also, do you know that game Halo was originally going to be a strategy game produced by Apple?
Someone mentioned it. Yeah,
I think
you
it was going to be
yeah.
it was going to be a top-down,
Wow.
like a Warcraft type of game, or
Like Halo Wars, isn't it? What
Command
Halo Wars?
Conquer. Halo Wars.
Yeah, what Halo Wars is.
What Halo was it?
made by Apple.
Yeah.
And then Microsoft bought it, and then told them to change the whole concept into FPS.
Wow.
That's one of those.
So
weird
take the law,
things.
but FPS.
It's strange. All of your lots. So first impressions of the game were the campaign and looking up.
Yeah.
When I got the game, I got like some dodgy rip that had multiplayer only. You could enter any serial you number one. Do you remember when you had to play a piece of game? You had a serial.
I remember Norman gave this everyone.
I entered any serial number,
yeah.
and I thought what Blood Gulch multiplayer. I was playing Blood Gulch multiplayer on servers was campaign. For a very long time, and I thought I couldn't defeat the boss, which is why I kept playing Blood Gulch until I realised it's multiplayer.
Keep getting your head turned.
Honestly, I thought that was a campaign.
You get head turned. Like it's amazing because when you get headshot in Halo 1, it's amazing the way he fell down. He was like,
Quick story, Ditch. Do you guys remember your first ever online multiplayer game? Like the first time you played online?
Yeah.
What was your game?
Modern Warfare.
Damn, that's pretty late into the
I was
online
going
game.
to say
Yeah.
Halo for me, man.
Honestly,
Mine was Halo.
Yeah.
Asin, do you know when I first played online?
yeah.
Before it was actually a thing.
Xbox Live?
It was Xbox Live existed, but before it was mainstream.
Yeah.
Some games wouldn't have like campaign online. They'd have campaign and then LAN.
Yeah.
Local network, right? That would be the two. Or multiplayer, and local network, and then LAN.
Yeah.
Somebody had figured out a way to if you download a software on your computer and plug your Xbox into your computer, everyone else doing the same thing on their side of the world.
Could connect to.
The internet or the game would think they're locally in your house playing with you.
Yeah.
So I would go to a local area network and then play with people in Germany, US.
Wow.
And online is not a thing at this point. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I remember the first, so normally in Halo, when you'd go into a map and on LAN, you'd be by yourself because there's no one else playing.
course.
And I remember I see another guy on the other end of the map.
How weird.
And he's fucking moving around, and I'm like, oh my god, that's another human being somewhere. Like that sounds ridiculous.
What was the game?
Halo.
They think it's hard to perceive now because it's such a normal
so
thing.
normal.
But how did it be the first time?
It was
That's
almost
so
like a
weird.
horror story. Yeah, I'm in a map that I know should be empty because I'm not playing with anyone. And I hear a noise on the other end, and I see some pink Halo guy jumping around. I'm like, oh, and he starts shooting me. I'm like, what the? I'm like screaming like I can't even play.
Wow, that's weird.
Amazing experience, man. I think for a lot of people, Halo was their entry into online gaming. Sorry, Ditch. Keep going.
And the last one is Battlefield 3.
Why you do this to me, Timmy? Why you do
I put
this?
it in there, an honourable mention.
Bro, if Street Fighter 4 is in your top 10, I'm kicking that fucker out.
Of course, it's in this top 10.
If we're basically making our 10th pick, and it's a 2 3 5 4 there's blood being spilled.
You don't have love for Street Fighter 4?
I do, but
But I didn't even play the game.
nothing.
The amount of hours I watched that. The amount of hours I watched on Street Fighter 4.
Yeah.
But even the whole element. I mean, I've never played it.
Alright, so what are we doing now? Are we going one by one now?
Yeah.
From our top 10?
Yeah, so we'll give
Okay.
one each.
Alright,
Yeah.
go on then.
Okay, I'll do. I have it in order, but
Go on then.
same order, yeah. Super.
Yeah,
So you
Well,
give me
the
yours.
first one, because we're doing in order, I think we
doing
can
in order?
start with the first one. It's not in order, but I'll give my first top number one.
So should we count backwards towards number one?
Yeah.
Oh, is that? Okay.
Yeah,
alright,
count
okay.
backwards with them all.
Build up the
Okay,
hype, man. Build up the
okay,
hype.
big
That's
up,
how
build
they
up.
stay for longer.
The millions of listeners.
The millions and millions of people.
Mine is Super Mario Kart.
10th.
Okay,
This is SNES, yeah.
Yeah.
Great fucking game.
go on.
Again,
Do you wanna elaborate?
where we never had actual multiplayer online, it made you feel like you had multiplayer because you had everyone around you.
That was the
It
game.
was a competitive racing game. You just keep getting bam bam. Mario Kart is one of those games man, where you can just jump in and feel like you're amazing, and then 2 days later play someone else who's unbelievable at the game, and you realize you're shit, and you have to get better.
I didn't know you played SNES Mario
I
Kart.
played so much of it, man. I played so much of SNES Mario Kart.
Okay, good pick.
I loved that game, man.
Okay, my number 10.
Yes.
Pokemon Red and Blue.
Okay. Would that be
Red and
just
and yellow.
And yellow, yeah,
But
of course. That's
you know this, but you know when the whole Pokemon franchise, it started with Pokemon Red and Blue. There was no such thing as Pokemon until this game
TV
came
series?
out.
TV series?
Nothing. None of
Red,
that
Red
shit.
and Blue split the 150 something.
151
into half.
They done something so genius. 1996, they released a Game Boy game, and at that time, and even now, most games, there's only one version of that game. Do you know why this Red and Blue did?
Because you can only get one or the other Pokemon.
Yeah,
It's like this a commercially genius move where they say, okay, we have 150 Pokemon that they've created.
Yep.
They know kids are going to be addicted to wanting to collect them all, catch them all, or that's a phrase.
Tagline, right?
But they don't put all 150 in one game. They split it, and then they create something called, what was the transfer cable link cable or something?
You could
You have to go to the Pokemon Center to
trade,
do
where
it.
you
Yeah,
trade with other
that
people.
thing.
Yep.
In 96, imagine you've got a Game Boy and you've got this cable that's allowing you to communicate with another Game Boy, and the 5 Pokemon that you're missing, your friend has to buy the other game. So they basically sold 2 copies there, and if you're rich enough, you buy both. And you just trade it amongst yourself.
Amazing
Fucking
concept.
genius.
Amazing
But
concept.
outside of the commercial thing of it, that game introduced me and a billion other kids to addiction. Being addicted to collecting.
Yep.
Fucking hell. That was
Absolutely.
crack for
With the
children.
cards and everything.
Yeah, then it just turned into a whole empire of addiction
You
after
have
that.
magazines, cards, you want to know about the Pokemon. You know.
Bro, true story. Well, true story. This is gonna, you ain't gonna believe me. I woke up one day randomly and somebody had thrown a Game Boy into my garden with Pokemon Red inside.
No way.
I promise you.
Was that the first time you played it?
First time I played it.
No way.
Yeah.
And did you return it?
I didn't even know what I was
Find out who it
playing. I didn't know what I was playing.
Did you find out whose Game Boy it was?
No, it could be any one of these houses nearby.
No
Bro,
way.
I just went into my garden and I see a Pokemon in a Game Boy. I know what I'm looking at.
You know why I did that, right? His Zapdos.
Addicted.
His Zapdos flew away.
Yeah.
Right.
You must have been playing at night.
Okay, sorry boys, I'm holding you up. Okay, that's it from me.
Number 10, yeah? I have MGS4.
Okay. War has changed.
Because I remember, I actually borrowed your PlayStation for this to play it.
Oh yeah,
You remember?
you did.
Because I don't have a PlayStation 3
Yeah, I lent it to you.
or 2, but I actually
Wait,
borrowed
wasn't
it.
that Last of Us you borrowed the PlayStation?
No, it wasn't Last of Us. I watched Last of Us. It was.
You definitely borrowed it for Last of Us. I remember that.
I
Yeah.
definitely borrowed it for
MGS4.
MGS, yeah.
But a game worth borrowing it for, man. Great game.
that game. I remember it's again MGS, like you've mentioned. The whole. I could have picked any of them, I guess. 3 was amazing. It was tough between the 2. 2, well, they were all really good. So those I watched.
All the ones in the MGS franchise, only 1, 2, and 4 were graphical leaps compared to what had happened before.
Yeah.
So 3 didn't hit that, as in 3 was...
It was
Three was
PS2
story.
in it. There's PS2.
It was like a second one in the PS2.
Yeah.
3 was
all
all
story.
story. Like 3 was like
They introduced eating in it. Surviving in the
it's all
forest,
gameplay
eating.
related.
AI was a big bump. But yeah, graphically, we'll get to that later. But
And like
yeah, MGS4 was a leap.
for the story, 3 was obviously really good because it came very early.
Probably the best, maybe.
For me,
Yeah, story.
Very good.
And MGS4 was launch title on PS4, wasn't it? PS3, sorry.
No, it was
No.
No.
June 19th, 2008. Just check it for me, Yasin. Wait, let me check. June 12th, 2008.
Let me go.
How do you remember that when you were
13th,
pumped to get the game?
I was so fucking pumped to get it.
2008, bro. June
I'll be-
13th.
What day? What did you say?
June 12th, 2008?
13th.
What is it?
Done. Well done.
What is it?
Yeah, June 12th,
2008?
Yeah.
Wow. Off the top of my head, boys.
I was close enough, then.
Yeah, I fucking love that game, man.
Close enough.
Yeah.
And actually, the real reason I remember it was the day we had our final A-level exam. Chemistry. So we finished that exam, and then I went straight to get the game from Woolworths.
Chemistry exam was on that day.
On that day, yeah. Oh shit! Do you know the day?
I ain't got my wallet on me. That's the day I took my driving test.
July.
I think it was that day. Well,
July or June?
June.
Yeah, so that's the day I took my driving test on my chemistry exam day. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, just for the whole stories. You know, you can pick any of them. Amazing stories. So yeah, and just for gameplay, everything is good. Where's number 10?
I put Gran Turismo 2.
I knew you'd put that.
Hey, between that Mario Kart for me, actually.
I put that in Gran Turismo 2 because that game was just something else. I don't need to really. I think we all know.
The first game I've ever thought was photorealistic in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Except for Mortal Kombat.
Oh, but no, those are actually pictures.
I'm just messing about, but yeah,
They were actually pictures.
yeah, they're actually pictures. Yeah, he was a picture. Yeah, so I just put down Gran Turismo 2.
I think Gran Turismo 3 is the one you're on about, the one that made you think about further realistic.
Gran Turismo 2 A Concept is called, right?
No, that's 3.
Is that
Yeah,
it?
it's three.
Three. The first one on the PS2.
That's Gran Turismo 3. That was leaps.
That's 3.
Really?
Yeah.
Drastically, that was leaps above everything else.
Gran Turismo 1 and 2.
Gran Turismo 2
is
I never bought a game where you couldn't play the game if you got until you got the licenses. Imagine that you buy a game and you're like, you can't actually play the game until you know you're worth it. Like, you gotta be worth it.
What could you do, easy man?
You couldn't do nothing. You have to do the licenses to get onto the main.
And how do you get the
They were
licenses?
tough, man.
They would make you do
do
Laguna
test
Seca in
tracks,
40 seconds, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then
You know,
it was
Dodge
what?
Viper, which has
And so
rear-wheel
it
drive.
was like tiered licenses.
Yeah, and it would just spin out. I had to get my uncle to do it. Why goes off it? It was hard, man. And, it was really hard.
It sounds like you have to get your uncle to beat. You need to get your uncle to beat your kids'
I
ability.
bet you have the same car as mine.
What's the car? It's Pikes Peak, bro. It's a Pikes Peak. That's the red one, the big car.
Yeah, that was.
But I do like the Skyline HKS 1000.
R32 1000 bhp.
No.
Yeah.
HKS.
Could be tuned to that car had that game had amazing customization and tuning.
Yeah, triple
Amazing
clutch, triple
customization.
fly clutch.
And if I remember right, when you went to each country or each manufacturer, I had to play a different song at each manufacturer.
Yeah.
So you went to different man. That was amazing, man. It felt like royalty when you went into each thing.
That for Gran Turismo 1, I remember. 2, I don't remember as much.
Okay,
But I
well,
obviously
probably
had it.
Yeah.
I remember him for really well from 1, man. And they were all amazing tunes.
Amazing.
Whenever you go, like, go Honda Garage.
Yeah, it makes you actually feel like you're buying a car, and it's
like- it was like-
strange
garage
feeling,
tune,
man.
right?
Yeah, like a garage tune,
like a showroom.
But each manufacturer had a different song.
Yeah.
They gave it a different feel. I think that was the first game I realised where Porsche used to be called Rough.
Rough, yes.
Oh,
And
they
I
have
was
the
thinking,
licenses.
No, Ruff's a legit name as well for
Porsche.
Yeah.
For Porsche. Oh, is it? I think so.
I think it's a German name.
I just thought they didn't buy the license. They didn't get the Rough.
They used it. I think it might be
I
the
never bought
racing.
Porsche, I never knew.
Rough is used to real life. I think it's the tuning division. Like, you know, you have Nismo for Nissan.
Oh yeah,
I think
yeah.
I could be wrong,
I
but
thought it was one of those Ryan Goggs situations in private, bro. Ryan Goggs, bro. Michael Bollock.
Was that just a spelling mistake?
You're gonna get the licenses.
was it Michael
Bollock.
Damn.
I was going to put, just as a note, I was going to, instead of Underground, I was debating between Underground and Gran Turismo.
Yeah, I was debating between Mario Kart Garage, which was my two, man. That's
Okay,
crazy.
go on.
Okay, let's move on.
So
next.
number 9 for me is The Witcher 3.
You put out.
Toss a coin. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, so this game did something for me that no game has ever done for me before. I think this is the first. You had spoken to me fondly about like game like Elder Scrolls,
Yeah.
where they're all about exploration, finding the next thing. Whatever you see, you can climb. Witcher 3 did something to me where I was playing the game so much. I think I'd invested at least probably about 50 hours into the game. More than 50 hours, I'd say. It got to a stage where I was certain that the map couldn't get filled. There's no more to this map, yeah?
I remember this from it.
And then I went over like a cliff, and at the time I was playing the Game of Thrones soundtrack, the Stark theme. I would always play the Stark theme. I turned the music down, Stark theme. And I was going over with the horse, and I saw a brand new island. I thought, fuck this game. And I turned around.
That's why it's on my list.
No, I turned around, I was like, main quest only. I just gave up on every
Was that
side
the
quest
Snow
on this
Island?
game.
The Snow Island.
It's one of the last islands where you start. I think you can take a boat to the bloody island.
It was like a
I'm not doing
million
that.
islands all connected.
Yeah, I'm
was
not
this-
doing this.
Was this one of the first games where anything you could see, you could travel?
That was Oblivion.
I
I
see.
mean, it was probably Morrowind before that. Like it was probably Skyrim, the Elder Scrolls before that. But the first game that I saw that was like really popular, Oblivion. Anything you could see, you can go there.
See, this is what I saw. I actually googled this today because I wanted to know if this was right. I remember you saying about Skyrim, innit?
No,
I think
Oblivion, the one before
Was it
Skyrim.
Oblivion?
So Skyrim is Elder Scrolls 5, Oblivion is Elder Scrolls 4.
4. Okay, but in 5 you couldn't do that, innit? I think there was a lot of like whatever you see, you'll go. You can go to. There was the assumption from gamers.
Oh, but you
and then it got memed and ripped that you couldn't do any of that.
That can't be Skyrim, really?
I think so, man. Because I
didn't
was
play
comparing it to one of the
Skyrim.
games. But
I don't play enough, sorry, too.
But Witcher didn't do it in that sense like Watch It. I think Watch It on you can go. You saw a mountain in the far, but you go to it. Which is just more like the landscape and the density, all the mission side activities. You actually felt the need to explore and go and do those missions.
That broke gamers, man. Gamers with OCD could not handle that game. Me included. The amount of question marks they would show you.
dialogue choices have an effect on the game, things like that. The action was sick. The progression tree was awesome.
Okay, yeah, I'm done for that.
So
Witcher 3.
I wonder if. So do you think you've seen The Witcher, right? Do you like it?
It's not amazing. It's good.
Did you hear?
It's good. It's hard to say it's good.
I'm just thinking if that influenced your choice.
I even said to Riz the
fact that you don't like it.
What's the last episode? Episode 8.
I did.
I got Riz to episode 8 is a complete mindfuck. Nothing makes sense. Nothing makes sense. The cuts they make are really jarring. As in, I'm not like 1 minute you see a person go to a king. Next scene, she's like, I've served this king for 1,000 years.
Oh, okay.
And you have no clue that anything happened. It's 1,000 years sounds crazy, isn't it?
It's a lot.
I don't know, man. Maybe I was, at the time, I was binge watching it though.
Right.
Even then, it didn't make any sense to me. I was just like episode after episode with a bit of action. But yeah, overall, it wasn't amazing. So I'm hoping season 2 will be a lot better.
Yeah. So you would say, okay, so that one influenced your choice.
Definitely not. Yeah.
Fitz it.
Well, it's GTA 3 for me. That's the only game where I probably did 0 missions but put 200 hours into that game.
Yep.
All I did, wake up, get a car. There's one
Radio station.
Yeah, change the radio stations, run it into buildings, get rocket launchers, take out helicopters, try and build up the star system.
5 stars.
5 stars, get the police behind you. I could not care less about the story, and I could still put in infinite hours into that game. Sandbox. That was the definition of sandbox.
GTA 3 was groundbreaking because GTA 1 and 2, which were great games,
Top-down games, isn't it? Top-down games.
That's the weird thing about that. It didn't even have a transition from going from top-down 2D to like shitty 3D. It just went fucking straight into the best 3D game.
That's what I think. A lot of people say it's probably the best GTA made, right? A lot of people say that.
Yeah.
Because of what it's achieved.
GTA
would be nothing without
I
it.
bought PS2
But
for
you
GTA.
feel like there should be a GTA 2.5 somewhere in there.
But there's not. That's the thing. That's what's so amazing about it. That's what's so amazing about it. Just talking about GTA, do they have in GTA 2? I remember I had 5-star, well, 5 5-star vigilante or whatever they call it.
Yeah.
5 cops. And I remember, like, I had cops after me, so many of them, and then all of a sudden that whole thing disappeared. There was none. There's no cops out. That 5 stars went. No cheat. I realized there's no one in the city. There's literally no one in the city. I was the only one. I'm walking forward. I see a tank coming from below, and it's pointing slowly.
Fuck, the army off me.
There's the army off me. Evacuate the city. Bro, I was so scared. I saw a tank from me. I left it. Hilarious. Slowly, coming towards me slowly. That was hilarious.
GTA 3 is the first and only game my dad ever bought me, and my dad hates games.
That's a bad one to get your kids.
I convinced him that this is the only reason I want the PlayStation 2 to just buy me the
Yeah,
game.
that's one game, man.
And he brought it for me.
That's in your number 8?
Number 9.
9, sorry.
Again, probably a unique one to me. Virtual Tennis 3.
Okay, yeah.
How long ago was this?
This is a long time. This is when the Xbox 360 came out. It's my first game with the Xbox.
Is this the one where you played that French number 2 in the world?
Yes, this is the same game, number 7. Okay, yeah. The fact that I put so much time into this game, I'm a big tennis fan. And I played another tennis game I played was ages ago on the SNES. Smash Tennis, a really good game.
Yeah, I heard of that.
Good game. But this game was really good. The fact that it was, had the concept of that it's easy to pick up and play, but difficult to master.
Yeah.
Very easy to play. Like literally, you go and it's very much like
Super Mario Tennis.
Tennis.
Yeah, amazing.
But there's this specifically small.
What's strange about that is I've played virtual tennis, and I remember I don't like watching tennis, and I'm no good at playing the game, real game tennis. But I loved playing the virtual tennis game.
It was a fun game.
I think these games must live and die on how well they nail the physics of the ball and the bat, right?
Yeah.
So I'm guessing.
Like Rocket League. Very much like Rocket
But this was so amazing about the game because it wasn't a realistic tennis game.
Arcade.
It was very arcadey. But it was still very addictive.
Fair enough.
It was very arcadey. I spent so much time playing this
I
game.
remember the graphics being amazing, man, at the time. Was it Virtual Tennis Dreamcast? Have I got that wrong? Was it Virtual Tennis?
That might have been Virtual Tennis, the one before it, Virtual Tennis 2. 3 was an Xbox 360.
Virtual Tennis was Dreamcast. Dreamcast was known for virtual tennis.
So it must be 1 or 2,
I played
right?
on there. I didn't play it.
That must have been Virtual Tennis 1.
Right. Okay.
Probably 1 or 2.
I remember the graphics being amazing at the time for me, man.
Yeah, Dreamcast was fucking too good.
And the other
Anything on there was graphically superior to.
Dreamcast same era as PlayStation 1 and 64? Or PlayStation 2 and GameCube?
It came out in between.
in between, isn't it? Yeah, it's in between. I
So
remember.
they rushed to the market. They actually announced it, and I think they might have released it in that week, same day or something like. There was no lead up time. They announced it at E3, released it straight away, And then all Sony said was that we're going to have like a DVD in our one. And it was I think DVDs were like £800 at that point. So Sony were like, okay, our next PlayStation is going to have a DVD player. So everyone's like, fuck the Dreamcast. We'll just wait for this cheap DVD player that also plays the best video games.
Yeah, they're too hasty to market, huh?
Yeah, they rushed, man.
And the other thing, it had true skill. Actually, the game had true skill. We were the leaderboards. I got to a decent rank in doubles, but I had true skill.
Nice. Dude, number 9, please.
Pokemon Yellow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Great. You like
Moving on.
Great game. But by Pokemon Red, my choice, Pokemon Red and Blue is Pokemon Yellow.
Is Pokemon Yellow the two
You didn't have generation.
It did.
No, not following around. You didn't have following around. That doesn't make sense.
No, but it's all three of them are the same game.
They're the same generation.
So we've picked the same game there.
So we're on 8 now, yeah?
Yeah. Shifts, what you got for me?
Grand Theft Auto Vice City. So where Grand Theft Auto Grand Theft Auto 3 was really, really special for me and changed gaming. The reason why I fell in love with Vice City is because at the time, my brother had brainwashed me into Scarface. Every morning I'd wake up, it was a specific time.
Okay, keep going.
At 7:30 a.m. I'd be up. Forget school, it's holidays. But I just want to play games. And all I would say is, you want to hear it up? You want to play it up?
Imagine what I had. Imagine his brother to wake him up. Alarm clock.
It's horrible, man. I saw it so much Scarface, I couldn't
But
stand it.
GTA 3's radio station was all Scarface.
Yeah, Vice City was all Scarface, so that was all 80s. There was a lot of nostalgia in Vice City, innit?
Yeah.
But the thing I loved about Vice City is it took the Scarface thing a bit far in the sense that you pay the hero or the protagonist Scarface dies, isn't it?
Yep.
Once he gets the mansion. But in Vice City, you actually work, get your mansion, and you basically feel like you control and run the entire city. Mm-hmm. That's why I loved that game. It kind of took GTA 3 just a bit step further by giving it a bit more colour. It was like
it's very vibrant.
Very vibrant, man. The guns were amazing. The 5-star system, everything about it was amazing. But like for me, the big thing was the actual like theme they picked, the setting, the 80s, the soundtrack.
Why do you think they never gave it a number? Like, why wasn't it GTA 4? Because I generally didn't buy that game because I thought it was like an expansion pack or something.
You'd think it would be,
clue,
with the name. You think it's more.
Because they did that again with San Andreas.
Yeah, which was a massive game.
Yeah, people
In its
loved
own
it.
right, it could have been numbered easily.
Yeah.
It's interesting though. I think it's maybe because it's themed,
Yeah.
possibly. Because the other ones are quite general. Maybe because it's a specific theme, right? Vice City is very much like
yeah.
San Andreas had its own kind
So
of
almost
theme.
like a spin-off.
Yeah, and Tommy Wiseau, the main lead, was so good, man.
That's
so
it.
good.
Hit me. Was your number 8?
It's you, isn't it?
Was it me?
Yeah. Dealer's left.
Well, she hit.
Hit us.
GoldenEye, boys. I don't think anyone has a balls to argue with that. Right?
I changed gaming forever. I know it's quite.
I think it's the first FPS on the console.
Yeah, it changed gaming.
I heard it's really good. So.
Yeah, it changed gaming. It changed first-person shooters. Right? It spawned Call of Duties. It spawned Battlefield.
Yeah, Halo. I heard a stat. I don't know if it's true. There were more GoldenEye sold than N64s. Actually, I'm pretty sure it's true.
Yeah.
There are more GoldenEye sold than N64s.
So what does that mean? I mean, someone either bought two, someone might have lost one, someone might have broken in rage.
Collector's editions.
And what I think you'll know this, at the time, N64 games were priced at £50 to £60.
Very expensive.
Unbelievable.
We had one game.
I bought my first N64 game, Killer Instinct Gold, for £75 from Argos.
Yeah.
I think it's about that much. Yeah.
And the fact that
We had more
GoldenEye sold
combat.
more units than the N64 console is insane.
That's insane.
We had more combat.
Insane.
Cost like 70 quid.
How much was the console at the time?
I think the console was 200-ish.
And you paid £70 for a game.
If you wanted to play anything on that thing, you would be paying £75.
Remember, the difference was that I think the whole thing with PlayStation 1 was 32-bit console, and this was a 64-bit console,
Yeah.
isn't it? So like it was meant to be leaps in graphics as well, isn't it?
Do you guys know the story behind how PlayStation got made? Sony approached Nintendo and said that we have this disc technology that you guys will love for your next Nintendo. And they were like, I think there was a disagreement on license fees. Either that or Nintendo was like, fuck that, cartridge is the way to go.
Yeah.
They made the N64 and then Sony, their partnership breaking through, went independent and said we'll make our own console. And there's an image out of the Sony Nintendo like the actual prototype of
the prototype one.
it's like an N64 with like a disc in it and all that. But yeah,
They were actually doing it, yeah?
yeah, they went with the but then they had the massive loading times of the PlayStation in it, which N64 didn't have. But then the PlayStation could do media. So you know, like you guys would have full tracks and voice and all this shit. Like the N64 almost never had that.
Yeah.
The cartridge couldn't. I don't know what it is, but the cartridge couldn't handle media.
The thing I don't remember about SNES and N64 was the instant loading times. Huh?
Yeah, that's the one.
Kind of like what
It was the instant loading times. You remember you just plug it in?
No loading time for cartridge.
That was the prototype.
And GoldenEye also introduced 4-player split screen.
Yeah.
I think it was one of the first games with 4-player split screen.
It's done a lot, isn't it?
And competitive shooting again. It was all competitive, isn't it? If you think you were all seeing each other shoot. I think Halo is very much inspired by GoldenEye, man. And so is Call of Duty.
Every FPS stands on the shoulders of GoldenEye. That's no question.
Yeah, GoldenEye's one of those which I didn't play it. I missed out on it.
But I need to check this. But I play inverted. As you play inverted.
Yes.
You play inverted because of Flight Simulator, right?
You play because of GoldenEye.
I play because of GoldenEye, and every time someone asks me, "Are you playing inverted?" I'm like, "Yeah, because I was a GoldenEye player, and that by default was inverted." And they're like, "Nah, it wasn't," because a lot of GoldenEye players, like you guys played GoldenEye, right? Do you remember if it was inverted or what?
You can.
Because I'm pretty sure I'm an inverted player.